Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so this is absolute vindication. I've been saying it for years, especially back when the Russia narrative was all the rage and it's all Democrats ever talked about. I've maintained basically since day one that Hillary Clinton's little Steele dossier Russia scheme, which of course then later encapsulated Obamagate as well, I've maintained that that little scheme that they concocted is arguably one of the biggest corruption scandals in American history, and you know, for the most part that fell on deaf ears. But now, after this classified document drop, well, I guess it's time to force people to listen. Are you paying attention yet? Because here it is, clear as day, the biggest political scandal in modern American history just got confirmed. And yes, it's exactly what we said it was, a rigged, coordinated, Clinton-approved operation to smear Donald Trump, to weaponize federal agencies, to weaponize the intelligence community in an effort to manipulate the entire country through fear and lies and ultimately unseat a duly elected president, undo an American election. And well, now we've got the damn receipts. We now have declassified emails confirmed by intel analysts as likely authentic that Hillary Clinton was behind all of it, and that the purpose was essentially to demonize Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. We got some absolutely wild stuff, folks. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this post here from Alex on X. Newly declassified documents from the Durham Report Annex reveal that Hillary Clinton personally approved of the idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering US elections in order to, quote, demonize Putin and Trump. So we have a message here from the 25th of July 2016 from Leonard Bernardo, where he says, "Hi, the media analysis on the DNC hacking appears solid. This is an important story because it will be the first time that we know of that a state deliberately uses the infiltration and publication of data to interfere in the US election. At the same, politicization is on the table. I've been a bit surprised that nobody has mentioned this 18-month-long story yet in their analysis and makes explicit reference to US election at the end. Julie says that it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump, and boy is that not exactly what we got. 4 frickin' years of Russia. Now it is good for post-convention bounce. Later the FBI will put more oil into the fire. Outcome is far from clear as Americans are more keen on their own woes, and Hillary is hardly looking good as far as credibility is concerned. Anyway, things are ghastly for US-Russian relations." We got another message here on July 27th, again from Leonard Bernardo. "Hi, Hillary Clinton approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russia hackers hampering US elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. The point is making the Russian play a US domestic issue. Say something like critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menace, since POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact intelligence community would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. However, there seems to be signs of GRU penetration. They appear hardly skilled, incompetent, bumbling idiots, as SMB somebody called them. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts." Holy frickin' moly, I mean, he is saying it outright. The supposed Russian hackers that were hacking the election to the benefit of Donald Trump were apparently a bunch of bumbling, incompetent buffoons who weren't actually accomplishing or doing much of anything, yet they wanted to blow up this narrative so they could have a long-term demonization campaign targeted against Donald Trump so they could help Hillary Clinton as she was facing a credibility crisis with her whole email scandal. Basically, they took the DNC hack and then blew it out of proportion and created this whole false flag psyop, weaponizing and manipulating intelligence, then abusing their power and connections to federal agencies, and of course their connection to the media to blow this whole thing up, all with one goal in mind. Not to protect the nation, not because of critical cyber infrastructure security and infrastructure security, no, to help Hillary Clinton because her credibility was in the rut. Absolutely wild. And the smoking gun is right there that HRC approved the plan. They even name-dropped CrowdStrike and Threat Connect, 2 of the private firms that would later help shape the mainstream narrative on the Russia hacking story. I mean, this is basically declassified confirmation of all of it. This is why, for years, we had Adam Schiff squawking nightly about the Russian threat.
Do you have any evidence at all that the president colluded? George, there's ample evidence of collusion of the campaign, and it's very much in the public record.
But you admit it's all you have right now is a circumstantial case.
Actually, no, Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that, and I can't go into the particulars, but there is more than circumstantial evidence now. So, again, I think...
So you have seen direct evidence of collusion?
I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial. It wasn't an overstatement. There is evidence of collusion. The Trump campaign manager was meeting with Russian intelligence. The evidence of collusion is in plain sight.
He was simply a puppet to the intelligence community, pushing this false narrative. Then, of course, there's the entirety of the mainstream media that was mobilized and weaponized to push the same thing.
Here is just a sampling of how the media breathlessly covered the lie that Russia had hacked the election.
The Russians definitively hacked the election.
Russia did hack the election.
The president does not want to come to terms with the fact that the Russians hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
Russia hacked the election.
If you can get them to accept that Russia hacked the election, see if you can get them to accept who won the Civil War.
And they did this despite President Obama definitively saying that Russia hadn't hacked the voting tallies in December of 2016. This is awful, awful stuff. And the media and the intelligence and Democratic officials and elites who participated in it deserve nothing but the utter contempt of the American people.
And none of it was true. Nothing. It was a Hillary Clinton plot to subvert the will of the people. That's the story here, and if you need proof of further corruption and complicity, notice that we're getting these massive declassified document drops exposing historic levels of corruption, and the media reaction has been almost silent.
I think a major organization of the national security apparatus, at least here at the White House within the National Security Council, has indeed taken place, and the president entrusts his current CIA director, John Ratcliffe, and our ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, to make the necessary changes to ensure classified intelligence, especially that could implement or hurt the national security of our country, does not make its way into the hands of irresponsible actors who want to politicize that intelligence for their own end. Since you brought up the declassification report that was put out by Senator Grassley today, I'm glad you brought it up because this should be a story every outlet in this room should be covering. This is further evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it. And the FBI and the CIA were both weaponized to, as our director of CIA has said, accelerate this hoax against then candidate and former President Trump. To answer the heart of your question, the president wants to see justice served, and he trusts the Attorney General and the Department of Justice to implement that justice and hold these people accountable.
Not a frickin' peep. But could you imagine, same wording, just switched around, you know? Donald Trump attempting to subvert democracy and stop Joe Biden from getting into office by falsifying intelligence and coordinating with the media, and using that fabricated intelligence and fake evidence to illegally obtain a FISA warrant to then spy on Donald Trump's campaign. This is beyond dirty politics. This is a seditious conspiracy. This is deep state collusion, corruption at the highest level. We're talking people in power at the highest of levels using national intelligence, federal law enforcement, and the mass media as their political weapons. They sabotaged public trust in these institutions. They hijacked these institutions and attempted to convince millions of Americans that the president of the United States was a foreign agent, knowing that the information was false. It's not just your typical smear job little October surprise. Again, seditious conspiracy. And the people responsible for it are the ones named in the documents. In this case, Hillary frickin' Clinton, Leonard Bernardo, and now a new name to add to the list, Julianne Smith. This individual right here is captured. Well, you know exactly what time it is, folks. It's time for a special counsel investigation. This is a smoking gun, and at this point, no more discretion. You know, I know Donald Trump has previously stated that he didn't want to destabilize the nation by arresting Hillary Clinton, but that whole notion has got to go out the window, and I'm pretty sure he's probably thinking the exact same thing. This was an attempted coup, an illegal, attempted undoing of an American election, and that simply cannot be allowed to stand. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.